Okay, welcome everybody to this year's FRIBIS annual conference, which is at the same time the first annual conference because FRIBIS is a very new institute committed to research about the UBI, a universal basic income. My name is Valentin Seehausen. I work at FRIBIS as a researcher, and because this year's conference topic is the monetary issues of a UBI, I had the pleasure and honor to organize this conference. This introductory session will last for 30 minutes, and it will comprise a welcome address of Professor Neumärker, which is the head of FRIBIS. And afterward, I will tell you about the program of this conference and introduce you to our website and how to navigate the tech stack. So yeah, a warm digital welcome to Professor Neumärker, head of FRIBIS.
So thank you very much to have the welcome address and introduce you to the annual FRIBIS meeting 2021. Let me just give to every participant and visitor a short introduction into FRIBIS and the related Goetz-Werner chair and its story. In 2019, the Goetz-Werner chair was introduced as a distinguished professorship at the university. And the idea was to have a chair with a focus on UBI research and also organizing more outreach at especially research activities and to bundle them all over the world. Yeah. So, but beside this distinguished professorship, very quickly at a meeting, the rector of the university, the former rector, Mr. Schiever, as well as Goetz-Werner from the DM Foundation, the very well-known supporter of UBI in Germany, very quickly had the idea for something bigger and more worldwide range of influence and vibrancy than a chair. And therefore the idea of FRIBIS was born. So here, thanks to the DM Foundation and especially to the Werner family, as well as the rectorate, for very cordial, full and generous support of this idea and the implementation of the institute. This institute has a real and rare novelty, namely it integrates the civic society into research and research into civic society. Advocates are here now for the first time in uniquely directly integrated in the university as FRIBIS members of a FRIBIS team and as part of the advocates, the so-called transfer group. It's not only that they are a part of a certain research project and so on, where it is required that the research project has also some contact to some applicators, but here it's very clear due to the fact that UBI is a civic society movement from the bottom up of a society and not so much from the top down of research. Yeah, just like the environmental movement in the 1970s, we clearly needed to integrate advocates as a direct part of the university with the same rights to do their things and contributing ideas to the topics of certain FRIBIS teams. So this is new, and we hope that in the long run, it will be also a certain project and a certain organizational idea for integrating civic society movements into university research. To give you an overview at FRIBIS, we have main and central institutions. It is an interdisciplinary institute, and that's what you see when you move to the homepage directly from the people who act as directors, For example, Andrea Kiesel, is a psychologist, and she's from the psychological department of cognition, action, and sustainability. Klaus Baumann is from the theological department. He investigates in Caritas science, in care economy, in Christian social work. Gregor Dobler is a social and cultural anthropologist. Bernhard is from the technology department, and he is doing research on the foundations of artificial intelligence and social robotics. Last but not least, Matthias Nükles is the leader of the Institute of Education Science, and he's also interested in education and socialization properties and UBI. Last but not least, me as the head of FRIBIS is also participating in the board of directors of FRIBIS. Other central institutions are the organizational staff. Here we have 6 positions. They are partially shared, and they support the teams as well as the group with a lot of important issues, for example, publication, pushing, outreach, IT support, how to contribute to the FRIBIS homepage, and so on and so forth. At the center stage of FRIBIS is the so-called FRIBIS matrix. It sounds artificial, but it is not. It's very important to notice it, that this was the basic idea how FRIBIS was born and lately and later accepted as an institute at the university. First, a matrix has its vertical columns and horizontal rows. Vertically, we have the international topics teams, and many teams, for example, on value-added tax finance, UBI, on foreign aid, basic income, together with water, energy, food, nexus of environmental stabilization of developing countries, and many other teams. You can visit them also on the FRIBIS homepage. And this year's conference, the first annual meeting, has its focus on monetary issue teams, because our monetary issue teams started very quickly, and Valentin, who was and is the organizer of these teams, and is very successful in doing improvements, in having them lively concerning research and meetings and so on, what is very important. So beside these UBI topics teams, we have a horizontal line on the FRIBIS matrix, and these are the research groups. These are the researchers in the topic teams. Then the advocates and transfer group. These are all advocates in a team, in teams put together, and the junior research group, PhD and postdoctoral researchers who also act as team coordinators and or are members of certain topic teams. Last but not least, we established also a student group, where Enno Schmidt is the coordinator to integrate students more and more into the teams and to give them very early the option to participate in research, teaching, and so on and so forth in UBI issues. A lot of them is what you can detect and what you may read more on our homepage. From now on, any annual FRIBIS conference will have a specific focus and presentations from team members, advocates, and researchers, the junior research group, members of the student groups, and also external visitors and members who act especially on the main issue in the central plenary sessions, for which we invite experts all around the world to document the FRIBIS topics in UBI and new research from FRIBIS. Our first annual conference this year is, as Valentin mentioned, on monetary issues. And the FRIBIS team coordinators specialized here in monetary issues, Valentin Seehausen and others, who was the head in organizing the first annual meeting, will now give an introduction to that topic. So therefore, many thanks to Valentin and his organization team that they prepared this conference with a lot of energy, enthusiasm, and very cool ideas in making this Zoom and this Zoom conference based on outreach perfect success via YouTube. I wish all participants and visitors a productive and lively conference during today as well as tomorrow. The conference program is on the homepage, and you can tick to any program item you like, and you can voluntarily participate in it as a visitor by moving then directly to the respective YouTube session. But the next things, technical details and program details, is on what Valentin will give you an introduction. Thank you very much and have a good conference.
Thank you very much, Professor Neumärker, for your introductory words. And I have to agree. Thank you very much, team Junior Research Group of FRIBIS. It was a pleasure to go with you together through the organizational tasks of organizing this conference. We had a lot of tasks to do, and I think this was a really pleasant experience for all of us. And I think after the conference is before the conference, but now is before the conference. So let me please briefly introduce the topic of monetary issues to you, to our audience, and also let me guide you through the program. One word about monetary issues. We all know that thinking about money is a trend right now, not only because of blockchain and central bank digital currencies and the very famous decentralized finance apps and dApps and tokens, but also because of community currencies that have been in the world long before Bitcoin and that gain interest and traction right now. We see a lot of projects with community currencies getting attention from big donor organizations like Red Cross or UN. And we also see a lot of UBI pilots using a community currency for different reasons. One of the reasons may be keeping the extended consumption in the area of the local currency or the UBI pilot, and other reasons can also be that it's technically feasible to reach the people that receive the UBI with the digital currency. And we will hear a lot more about this in following sessions. So this is a micro perspective on the monetary issues. There's also a macro perspective, because right now we had another trend in economics is to discuss the intersection of fiscal and monetary policy. And yes, I am speaking about MMT, modern monetary theory, which is breaking it down very, very simply, using monetary policy to support fiscal policy. And MMT is proposing a job guarantee. And in the UBI research, the debate is if a UBI is better to support social causes and economical causes than a job guarantee. And obviously we are doing UBI research at FRIBIS, so we have a whole session about this issue. Should the governmental money be printed through the hands of citizens? And We even go a step farther with our next my main researcher / activist Jeff Crocker. He says yes, we should do it, and the money should also be debt-free and sovereign. It's kind of a radical approach. This is what he says in the intro of his book himself. So I want to shed some attention on the next session. It's going to be the plenary session about debt-free sovereign money financing of a UBI. We also have other sessions about the monetary issues and obviously about all the other interesting research activities at FRIBIS. So I decided to just share my screen and show you our website and our list of abstracts so you know how to navigate the next 1.5 days, because this conference will span this afternoon and the whole next day. So I'm going to share my screen here. This is our conference website. And as you see, we have this beautiful program. Thanks again to the website team. I think it looks really great. We are currently in the session, obviously. And we have 2 different sessions. We have plenary sessions and we have parallel sessions. And as this is a digital conference, we decided to use YouTube to be as inclusive as possible and to also have all sessions recorded automatically. So if someone of you makes the intra-temporal decision that you don't want to visit a session live, no worries, you can always rewatch it later, and afterward it will be on YouTube for the next possibly years. So if you want to watch something, then you just click on watch on this website. If you listen to me, then you already did this job very well. Please be aware that every session has a single and individual YouTube link. So please, when the time proceeds, please click on the plenary session or the parallel session that you are interested in, and you can watch the YouTube. If you are interested in what the session will be about, please have a look in our book of abstracts. It looks like this. This is our book of abstracts. Again, very big shout out and thank you to the PDF team. These are the abstracts.
Valentin, I think you have to change because we are still seeing the program. You have to change the document in the sharing also.
Like this? Can you see the program? Okay, thank you very much. So yeah, these are the watch links that I wanted to show you, and please be aware that you have to proceed with the watch links when the time proceeds. These are the parallel sessions here. So if you would be interested in looking at the monetary issues of UBI, debt-free sovereign money, financing for UBI, then please consult our program, and it's here. Here you can find more about the session. So you can also download and print out this program. And here we have the parallel sessions. So let me just, after telling you how to use the PDF program, walk you through the conference and especially about the monetary issues of UBI inside of this conference, because there are some topics I can't tell you a lot about, but about the monetary issues I can tell you. So we are here at the introductory session right now. And as I said, the next session will shed light on FUBI, what we call the debt-free sovereign money financing of a UBI, which may be one of the most creative or even radical approaches to finance a UBI. Then today we have the first slot of parallel sessions with 3 teams that do this very interesting intersection of research and activism on UBI. We will have a lot of international experience here in this session. Also, it's a pleasure to have Sarat Davala, head of BN, here in the session. Thank you very much for being here. This session where social contract and new order liberalism will take a stance from an order liberal view and talk a lot about Buchanan's proposal for a UBI. Most economists don't know that even from the liberal side, there were proposals of a UBI. So if you are an economist and you never heard about Buchanan, this is a very interesting session for you. Introducing UBI on a communal level is also very interesting if you are more interested in activism, because the team of Expedition Grundeinkommen will talk about how they plan to do pilots all over Germany from a very bottom-up perspective. So yes, if you want to join the activist movement about UBI, this session is going to be very interesting. And obviously, if you are into UBI research or activism at all, you will know this name, Guy Standing. He is one of the most famous researchers about the UBI, and we are very, very happy that he accepted our invitation to give the keynote today about UBI. His last book is called Battling 8 Giants, Basic Income Now. So he will talk about UBI as a tool to address most of the current crises, and he will also talk about, he talks about in his books how UBI can even be used to address the crisis of mass extinction. So this is a very current topic, and I'm very much looking forward for this keynote address. Afterward, we wish you a great evening. Unfortunately, we can't meet, but we hope that next year the annual conference can be in person. So we are very happy to welcome you tomorrow morning at our plenary session. And this session is a session that I'm also very much looking forward to. We will have a short welcome note from Dr. Yu, Yong-Seung Yu, from the Gyeonggi Research Institute. Gyeonggi is an area in South Korea with a UBI pilot that reaches nearly 200,000 people. So from just from the quantity, I would say this is the biggest data set about the UBI in the world, and we are very happy to have the cooperation with the Gyeonggi Research Institute via our partner organization BIWIL, Basic Income Research and Action Lab. We won't have a session about BIWIL, but if you look at our YouTube account, you can see the recordings. He will say something, and also Andreo Honsava, which is just in the process of starting a FRIBIS team, will tell you about a community currency. He and his research colleagues are starting in Kenya, and about how they reach people very bottom up, how they let people decide about the monetary design, and how they will move to a UBI scheme very soon. So also very interesting, very international, the session. In the next slot, parallel sessions, we have some teams where I don't know so much about. The Russian team talks about the UBI movement in Russia, and gender and UBI will obviously talk about how gender economics and UBI are intervene together, and how UBI can also be a feminist tool. UBI Experience is a team that is not a FRIBIS team yet, from my knowledge, but it's external cooperation, and we're gonna have some insights about another very big and important UBI pilot in the world that everyone that is interested in UBI research should know. I'm talking about the UBI in Marika, and we will hear data from Marika and experience from Marika, and we will also have some normative discussions about a UBI. That's also going to be very interesting. I'm very happy that we record the sessions, because I'm very interested in all of them, and I'm very happy to have them. Then we have a little break, because even though this is an online conference, we want you to eat and be prepared for the next session. In the plenary session, we invited some very we are very delighted to have this researchers from the World Bank and from Give Directly and from the University of York, because they bring a lot of empirical knowledge to our table, and I'm very, very much looking forward to moderate this session because I'm following the work of Ugo Gentilini, Miriam Laker and Louise Haag, since we do research in UBI, and they publish a lot of really important resources. And they will tell us about empirics of UBI in development economics and the development context, pros and cons, because obviously UBI is not the weapon for everything, but in some circumstances it can be a very good fit. In other circumstances, a more direct cash transfer might be more fitting. So I'm very interested in these opinions and to have a very neutral and very scientific and practical view on UBI. In the next parallel sessions, these are sessions where I again can't say so much about. These are teams of freebies, but I can it's about political participation and UBI, and it's about the experiment in Finland. And Nick Pierce is also a colleague that is not formally involved in the UBI research, but he accepted our invitation to do this session, and he's doing a lot of micro-simulations with his colleagues in Bath. And so this is another international cooperation that we want to present you. This session, led by Ulrich Schachschneider and moderated by Bianca Blum, will shed light on the idea of European Euro dividend and also about the ecological Euro dividend. This is a topic which is also very interesting, especially in these times where we are facing climate change. So if you're interested in ecology, then this session might be very interesting for you. These other sessions, this is a micro-simulation, very deep economical approach. And if you're interested in politics, then this session might be for you. So the next plenary session is another team of me. Well, it's not my team, but I have the honor to be the team coordinator. This is a very active team. We do a lot of different things. You will hear about Circles UBI in Berlin, a network analysis of this, and you will hear about two other very distinct topics, which is Trust Lines, which is a software for community currencies that use a mutual credit system, and you will also hear about the Community Currency Alliance. So if you're interested in community currencies and alternative currencies or complementary currencies, or if you live in Berlin and you want to participate in the Circles UBI experiment, then this is a very interesting session for you. And then in our last parallel session slot, we have some we have one mixed panel, and we have 3 other teams presenting. We have this water, energy, food, security, foreign aid complex with Tobias Jäger as a chair. And we have the topic of a VAT, value-added tax, finance for a UBI. In German, it's called Mehrwertsteuer. This is very close to the proposal of Götz Werner, which is the main donor for FRIBIS. So if you're interested in his approach and different tax scenarios, how to finance a UBI, especially obviously with the VAT, this session is of your interest. And this session is a mixed panel where different presenters, because of their time zone, present in this evening. For example, Chloe Halpenny is sitting in the States. And this session will also have 2 German-speaking presentations. So if you're German-speaking, then this session will be for you. If you can't speak German, yeah, we are very sorry. This session is not for you, but in further, we will do subtitles on the YouTube session. So if you want to listen to it later, then you will be able to do so. Every good conference concludes with a plenary session, and this plenary session has some very interesting participants. With Jeff Crocker and Scott Santens, we have 2 proponents of financing a UBI with monetary financing. With Hilde Latour, I'm pretty sure she is not super much in favor of it. With Barb Jakobsen, I don't know her stance. And with Enno Schmidt moderating it, we will have some people that are very have been involved in the UBI scene for a very long time. And I think this is going to be a very nice complementary and concluding panel discussions where we discuss critically if there are monetary issues for UBI or not. So, as an economist say, much research can be done, and I'm looking forward for this conference. I wish you all a great conference. I'm looking forward for the networking, and yes, we will have a 10-minute break now. We will have 10-minute breaks in between each session, and I'm very much looking forward for the next session of monetary issues of a UBI. And I think this was the first session, right, Professor Neumärker? You're muted.
So, the typical problem. Thank you very much. And I have nothing to add. Perfect introduction into the conference scheme and the purpose of the conference.
Maybe one last word. Even though the FRIBIS matrix sounds complicated, we are very open. We are always looking forward for cooperation. So just contact us, and I think we're going to make it happen. Have a good conference.